Welcome to Everything Barton. My name's Richard Watts. The daughter of a world-famous singer is coming to Barton. Elsie Jones has more.
The daughter of a legendary country musician is coming to Barton. Ashley Campbell, daughter of the great Glenn Campbell, is performing at the Ropery Hall in March. Her career began by performing banjo and keyboard in her father's band during his World Farewell tours in 2011 and 2012. She appeared in the music video for Rascal Flatts' song Banjo in 2012, showcasing her instrumental talent. In 2015, she released her debut single Remembering, a song she wrote as a touching tribute to her father. That track featured on the Grammy-winning and Oscar-nominated soundtrack for the documentary Glenn Campbell, I'll Be Me. Remembering helped establish her voice as both a songwriter and performer in her own right. Ashley's live performances have taken her all over the world, from China and Japan to iconic venues like London's O2 Arena and Carnegie Hall. She has also performed in multiple tours with Scott Bradley's Postmodern Jukebox across the UK and Europe. Her Goodnight Nashville tour brings her to the Ropery.
Now over to Brooke Edwards, who'll tell us about Barton Link Road and a new model shop in the town.
A major milestone has been reached in the delivery of the Barton Link Road, with a contractor now appointed to build the scheme, hence marking the move from plans to delivery. North Lincolnshire Council has confirmed Jackson Civil Engineering Group as the delivery partner for the project, which will improve safety, reduce pressure on existing routes and create new opportunities for walking, cycling and healthier everyday journeys around Barton upon Humber. Rob Waltham, leader of North Lincolnshire Council, said, "Appointing a contractor means this scheme is now firmly in delivery, turning years of planning into visible progress that will benefit people who live, work and travel in and around Barton. We committed to delivering this and we've kept our promise. Many people have pushed hard to get things to this point. It's great to see we are at the point of delivery." The road forms a key part of the town's wider regeneration program and will be delivered alongside improvements to the A1077 corridor. Together, these works will make it easier to move around Barton, improve reliability for local journeys and create safer, more attractive routes for residents, businesses and visitors. The scheme is funded through Barton's £19.7 million allocation from the Levelling Up Fund, focused on practical improvements that residents can see and use. All works are scheduled to be completed by March 2027. Barton has welcomed a new independent retailer with the opening of Model Market Limited, a specialist model railway and slot car shop run by local enthusiast Andy Rhodes. The shop focuses on modern DCC technology, alongside models from leading brands such as Hornby, Acura Scale and PECO. Visitors can also see a working layout in action and get expert advice, repairs and fitting services. The shop is open Saturdays 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Plans are in place to expand opening hours in the future.
Next up, the sports news. Barton Town visited league leaders in the Northern Counties East League Premier Division on Saturday, and they got a dream start when Lewis Stevens gave them the lead on 3 minutes. Ball in from the left from Danny Buttle. Tom Warby did well to reach at the far post. His shot came back off the bar, and there was Stevens to give Barton the lead. Liversidge got back into it on 41 minutes. A really fine goal. Excellent finish from Finn Donovan to level it up on 41 minutes. And then just before half-time, Barton desperately close to regaining the lead. Tom Warby's headed, just missing the far post. Barton had played really well in that first half, but Liversidge showed what a quality side they are and why they're the top of the league. And they had the bulk of the second half. Barton, though, hung on well, but on the 57th minute, Liversidge went in front. Centre-half Jack Stockdale, who was outstanding throughout, brought the ball forward, knocked it out wide and then got on the end of the cross to give the hosts the lead. Barton rallied in the closing stages, but they just couldn't create that chance to draw level. But an outstanding performance against an outstanding side who are now 22 games unbeaten. So in the league, Barton dropped to 6th place. Liversidge are top, 59 points from 24 games. Beverley second, 51 from 26. Sheffield third, 49 from 25. Handsworth fourth, 48 from 28th. Tadcaster fifth, 45 from 25. And then there's Barton sixth, 42 from 24. The Barton lineup at Liversedge was Charlie Dixon-Brown in goal, Grant Tate, Will Sutton making his Barton debut with a left back after signing from Rosington, Josh McKiernan, Fraser Paprell, Craig King, Tom Warby, Joel Shepherd, Lewis Stevens, Grayson Giles and Danny Buttle. Substitutes who were used: Matt Stafford, Prince Hayward and Tyler Edwards. Finn Abraham and Joe Lamplugh were also on the bench. So this Saturday, Barton are at home to Parkgate. They then follow, that's on the 24th of course, they then follow up on the 27th with a trip to Tadcaster Albion, and then on the 31st they have a trip to Golka. Rugby Union and Barton and District visited Scarborough Vikings on Saturday, and were on the wrong side of the scoreline, losing 62-17. The lineup that day for Barton was M. Matthews, L. Matthews, Ayres, Hammond Blackburn, Young, Cundle, Bullivant, Trousdale, Blackie, Brett, James, Sayers, Chapman, Allen and Frank. The substitutes were Paddock, Lovering, Merrin, Wardle, Greaves, Wells and Rowe. Games coming up for Barton on Saturday the 24th. They're at the Selby Seconds. And then the next home game on the Saturday the 7th of February, they're at home to Pontefract Seconds. In the league table, no movement in the table for Barton. They remain in 11th place, played 10 points, 17. And to end the sport, don't forget that Baysgarth Park Run takes place every Saturday at 9 o'clock. Next, a bit of Barton history with Arthur Noble.
The Humber Bridge is one of the most significant engineering landmarks in the UK. Proposals for a crossing over the Humber date back to the 19th century, driven by the need to improve transport and trade between the north and south banks. Serious momentum began in the 1930s, but plans were delayed by World War II and post-war economic constraints. In 1959, the Humber Bridge Board was established, and parliamentary approval was granted in 1969. Construction started in 1973. The bridge was designed as a single-span suspension bridge, avoiding the need for piers in the estuaries shifting mud and strong tides. At the time of completion, its main span of 1,410 meters was the longest single-span suspension bridge in the world. The bridge officially opened on the 24th of June 1981 by Queen Elizabeth II. Today, the Humber Bridge is a Grade I listed structure and remains an iconic symbol of the region.
Looking at what's coming up at the Ropery on the 4th of February, film The Life of Chunk. That's got a 2 p.m. showing, which is £3, and a 7:30 p.m. showing, which is £4. On the 5th, music from Arthur Coates and Kieran Cottrell. That's 8 o'clock, and it's £15 and £17 tickets. On the 6th, Callie Beaton, comedian. That's 8 o'clock, £17 and £19. On the 7th, music from Greg Coulson. That's 8 o'clock, £16 and £18. On the 8th is John Crace, and that's a sellout. The 11th, 2 o'clock film, 4 Letters of Love, that's £3. And on the 11th, 7:30 p.m. film, that's Spinal Tap 2. On to the 12th, music from the Foghorn String Band, that's 8 o'clock, and tickets are £20 and £22. On the 13th, music from the Luke Daniels Band, that's 8 o'clock, £16 and £18. On the 14th, music from Savar Kunta, that's 8 o'clock, £15 and £17. On the 18th, film The Colour Purple, that's a 2 o'clock showing, £3. Also on the 18th, 7:30 showing, which is £4, The Phoenician Scheme. On to the 19th, the theatre, The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. That's 7:30 and it's £15 and £17. On the 20th, Delicio Giaponda. That's 8 o'clock and it's £17, £19 and £16. 21st, Music, Yorkshire Gypsy Swim Collective. That's at 8 o'clock and it's £17 and £19. 22nd, Music from Sax on Sunday. That's 4 o'clock and it's £16 and £18. On the 23rd, The Spoken Word, Three Voices. That's at 8 o'clock and it's £5. On to the 25th, Film Sense and Sensibility, 2 o'clock showing. That's £3. Also on the 25th, film at 7:30, The Colour Room, that's £4. On to the 26th, Music, Alexandra Whittingham, that's 8 o'clock and tickets are £16 and £18. The 27th, it's Barnstormers Comedy, that's 8 o'clock and tickets are £12 and £14. And the last show in February, the 28th, Music from the Mark Harrison Band, that's 8 o'clock and it's £15 and £17. We'll end this edition of the programme with a Barton ghost story, which is narrated by Liz Drury.
Barton Ghost Stories. The Ghost of Dick Turpin's Cat. On King Street in Barton stands a white building that houses a number of shops, including Euronics and a travel agency. At one time, the building had been a coaching inn. There's a story that Dick Turpin once passed through Barton trying to escape from a group of vigilantes. It's said that he took shelter in a coaching inn where he hid in the well. Now, Dick was travelling with his cat, and unfortunately, whilst he was hiding in the well, his cat slipped out of his bag and was drowned in the water. In the 1980s, the coaching inn was renovated and turned into the shops that we see today. During renovations, the builders came across a hidden well. They backfilled it, and it now stands underneath the kitchen at the back of the travel agents. Not long after the travel agents opened, staff taking a break in the kitchen would sometimes feel an invisible cat rubbing around their legs. And on one occasion there was a loud meow, and a cactus which had been standing on top of a filing cabinet in the kitchen flew across the room and landed on the floor. We can only assume that Dick Turpin's cat did not appreciate the prickles. The upper floor of this building is also supposedly haunted. In fact, the atmosphere up there is so eerie that the first person who owned the travel agents used to keep the staircase to the upper floor locked. However, this did not prevent all the wallpaper being ripped from the walls and left in a pile in the middle of the floor. One last strange story associated with this building is that the upper floor has a different number of windows depending on whether you are looking at it from the outside or from the inside. Although a number of builders have looked at it over the years, the measurements don't add up to another room.